Today we are going to reverse engineer the Wrecking Crew trailer look. I'm going to show you the secret that most colorists completely miss when they try to replicate Blockbuster grades. Look at this transformation. This is a straight out of camera log footage, and this is after we apply the exact same color science that the pros use on major studio trailers. The difference isn't expensive cameras or $thousands plugins. The secret is understanding subtractive density and color crosstalk. I'm going to show you how to rig the Vectorscope like a blueprint and use it to build any cinematic look you want. The DNA lies in the Vectorscope and almost nobody uses it correctly. Let's pull up the Wrecking Crew trailer shots and look at the Vectorscope. You'll see something very specific. The colors aren't scattered randomly across the scope. They actually form a linear separation between the teal and vector and the orange vector. That linear separation is the signature, and that will guide our creative decision. First step is movie density. When I push the slider up, watch what happens to the image. It gets darker on the waveform, but it saturates the image. That's real density. More colors means less light because you are stacking layers of dye, and dye blocks light. That's why digital video looks plastic and fake, because they are increasing brightness as you saturate. So we inject density first. Now look at the Vectorscope. It's spreading out the Vectorscope. We are giving the colors room to breathe, but we are not forcing them into any specific direction yet. Now we go to Film Color Mixer. This is where the magic happens. I'm going to push the teal and orange palette slider and watch the Vectorscope. See that? The scattered cloud of colors are collapsing into a linear line between the teal and orange. This is color crosstalk. We are not just tinting the image. We are making all the green channel to talk and cross-bleed into the blue channel to create unified teal. We are mixing yellow into the red channel to create that golden orange that holds skin tone perfectly along the skin tone line of Vectorscope. That is why LUTs fail. A LUT is a static transformation. It can't adapt to your footage. But this is parametric. We are reshaping the Vectorscope by telling the software how to interpret the color vectors themselves. There is no masking, there is no keying. We are changing the physics of how the red and blue dye exists in the image. Let me show you the before and after. It's from a very spread out Vectorscope into a very clean linear separation. That's signature. That's the secret. Once you see the pattern, you can replicate any Blockbuster look because it follows the same kind of principle. They all use linear color separation driven by subtractive density and crosstalk. Now that the Vectorscope shows the right structure, we can push individual color channels to sculpt the mood. That's where film separation comes in. I'm going to increase red and cyan separation and watch the Vectorscope. It only stretches along within that line, within that complementary line. See how the line is getting longer? We are spreading the dynamic color of this palette without breaking the relationship we have previously built. So the Vectorscope is a blueprint. Everything else is just execution. Now let's apply this to 4 completely different scenes and you will see how powerful this workflow really is. I'm going to start with the scene 2. This is a white shot, same Vectorscope showing the same scattered pattern we have seen before. Weak color separation, no density. I add movie density first to pop the color, then I go to film separation. I'm going to spread the red and cyan axis channel. Watch the Vectorscope. It's stretching perfectly along the teal and orange vectors. So they are moving further apart, creating more saturation within these zones. This is creating that cinematic color palette without touching a single color wheel. Now here is what gets really interesting. I'm going to use film printer lights with shadow protection turned on. This is a game changer. In a traditional film lab, printer lights are the RGB lights that flash across the negative onto the print stocks. We are simulating that here, but with intelligent range protections. I'm adding green and yellow to simulate a golden hour tone, but watch that happens to the shadow. They stay pure black. The shadow protection feature is analyzing the entire luminance and automatically creating the mask protecting our shadows. So I can push the midtones and highlight violently towards certain tone I want to inject into the scene without my image looking like it slapped onto a filter over everything. The blacks maintain their snap and contrast. Now, let me copy this grade and paste it onto the scene 3. This is a completely different lighting setup. With a cooler confrontational tone, I paste the gray and it works, but the mood isn't quite right, so I'm going to adapt it. I go to film printer lights and I add green and add blue instead of yellow. This shifts the entire palette towards a cooler, more tense vibe. The Vectorscope is still showing that linear separation, but now it's rotated towards the cyan and blue vectors instead of the orange. This is the power of parametric grading. I don't have to rebuild the look from scratch. I just adjusted the printer lines balance and the entire mood shifted while maintaining the entire core structure. You can't do this with a LUT. A LUT is a baked-in solution. It's destructive. This is flexible. This is alive. Scene 4 is where it gets wild. I'm copying the original grid from the scene 2 and pasting onto this fourth scene. Different color, different location, and it works flawlessly. I don't even have to touch it. The Vectorscope shows the same linear separation. The density is there. The color crosstalk is unified across the entire image. This is the cross-platform advantage of PFA Color Suite. I can save this preset right now. I can call it today's state 0130 and I can save it now, go to Premiere Pro, After Effects, load the same exact preset and you will produce exactly the same result across software. The entire engine is cross-platform. The math is the same across every host application. You are not locked into one software ecosystem. And that is the kicker. Because this is parametric, I can still tweak the contrast, the density, the grain, a bloom after I load the preset. It's not a static file. It's a live grade. It's a living grade that adapts to your image instantly. That's why this is the workflow. It beats every single LUTs out there, every single time. The Vectorscope reveals everything. Linear color separation, true subtractive density, and crosstalk. And that is the secret. Try the free trial of PFA Color Suite 6.5. Use code THANKYOU2026 for $100 off before version 7.2 launches. And the price will go up triple, I promise you. Once you understand how to read and shape the Vectorscope, you can replicate any blockbuster look that you want. I'm Nash, Passion Fuels Ambition. I shall see you in the next one.